Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Slippin Jimmy, aka CJ, here with you guys for another week of look ahead lines here on Outlier. Thanks for joining me. We do this every week here at 9 o'clock, and we try to go through all of the look ahead lines for the upcoming week. Try to get you some good CLV and some bets where we think the line's going to end up moving, and try to get some early winners in your slips or in your feed as we get the week kicked off. So, a little bit distracted. I'm not going to lie for me this week. And been a long week as a Mets fan. Mostly good. Today was rough, but definitely a lot of emotion going on. I mean, this is an amazing time of year as a sports fan. Really, October is just does not get any better to me. But a lot of baseball stuff going on with the baseball playoffs. I know Adam and I did a show on that last week, looking at some futures. NFL, a lot of crazy stuff going on today. Also, as a Steelers fan, I am waiting for this game to get started. So may do this stream a little bit quicker than typical to jump on for SNF, but we will still look to get you some value here in the next 30 to 40 minutes or so. So with that, let me go and share my screen. If you guys have not joined one of these before, here's how it works. We go through the upcoming week slate of games. What's up, Porter? Phillies fan, better than I expected. Hey, man, I knew the series is going to be a war. These are two teams that have seen each other many, many times, and Mets have been the best team in baseball since June. But Phillies have, been, I think, the most consistent team throughout the whole year. So going to Game 3 on Tuesday, can't wait. But yeah, this is it's going to be an absolute war of attrition here over the next, I'd say, next couple of days. Anyway, so we good. What's up? We got Armando here. Thank you for joining. So let's start. Let's go through the lines. We exclude, right, the Monday night teams as well as the Sunday night football teams from these lines because obviously things can change. You can have benchings. You can obviously have injuries. So we want to make sure that we are not necessarily accounting. A lot of the time, too, those lines will not be available. So we want to just focus on the ones that we do have information for at this point, and then we will kind of work our way from there. So we'll start here with the Niners and the Seahawks. So very interesting in terms of the kind of typical way that we approach this when we're looking to find some value with these. So first off is you want to always note down the overreaction teams each week, whether it's a really good win and maybe it looked a little bit too good or a bad loss. So you were a big favorite, you lost, or you were, kind of neck and neck, but you got killed. Both of these teams had bad losses today. Niners lost to the Cardinals at home. Promo codes, yes, Normando, we do. I will hook you up if you're in the Outlier Discord. We'll try to provide a link here, but yes, we do. I believe have like 1 week free trial codes that we can definitely hook you up with. Yes, but for the Niners and the Seahawks, right? Like both these teams, I think the Seahawks loss was honestly a lot worse. Losing to the Giants the way they did earlier today was, yeah, just not a good. Not a good loss whatsoever for Seattle. I think San Francisco, you can make at least a little bit of a case that Arizona has been definitely very frisky, good offensive team all year, and division game losing at home. I think it's a little bit more. We can explain that a little bit more. If we look at the injuries for this one, we had a linebacker and Woso, I believe, leave for Seattle. Kenneth Walker played. Both of these teams, other than McCaffrey, relatively healthy. I didn't see if I look at just double check here we had one of the safeties, Ufanga, left for San Francisco. Moody, I mean, kickers, they'll have time to kind of be able to replace that here in the next week. So 47.5. I do think that total kind of sounds right to me. Seattle's defense has certainly fallen, I wouldn't say off a cliff, but they have definitely gotten into correction territory the last few weeks. Niners defense, they've been gettable pretty much all season. I think they're kind of just more of like we know who they are. They're kind of just an average to maybe slightly above average week to week. defense. So 47.5 sounds correct to me. I think these are both obviously very good offenses. I am interested that Seattle is +3 at even money at home on a short week. Yeah, I don't know if I agree necessarily there. Let's start to kind of look at. So one of the other things we do here is we go through and see what are the other sharp books kind of saying with these lines, and then that'll give us a better understanding of where those are going to be headed. So Pinnacle opened at 3.5, -122, so pretty shaded. Looks like we are moving to 3. But that is just interesting that Pinnacle at least decided to hang that 3.5. Bookmaker at 3, and then we've got Seattle +3 at -110 here. So it's not my favorite, I would say, bet on the board. We're gonna add this here, um, just to we're gonna add this one. May come back to it. I think this one though is pretty, to be honest, accurately priced across market. 47 on the money line. Bookmaker, we're not going to have that. We do not have a money line for Bet Online. I would say if you're going to bet this, if you're getting a cheap 3 with Seattle at home, short week, wouldn't hate it. But I would say that's definitely not my favorite play whatsoever here on the board. All right, let's keep moving along here. So this one, full disclosure, I already bet this myself. I actually bet Jaguars money line because I had a pretty good feeling that they were going to win today. How they won today makes me feel a little bit less confident in that bet. I believe the money line that I had for this game actually is already. We're looking here. I got this at like plus, I believe, like 110 on the look ahead money line, and this is 115. So didn't really get a lot of value there. Going to the look ahead, we see kind of the total here at 43.5. That kind of seems a little bit high to me, given that how Chicago's defense, at least if you look at kind of the advanced stuff by like DVOA, if you ever go to like FTN for example, definitely one of the better defenses. Jacksonville, their defense not great, but this is not also an easy spot for Caleb Williams going across the pond in a place where Jacksonville has played a lot of games. 43.5 does seem a little bit high to me, and Pinnacle would also agree. So there we go. That would say that Jacksonville and Chicago 43, not 43.5 on Pinnacle. We're seeing 43 on Bookmaker, and I am also seeing 43, a little bit shaded to the over there, but this is definitely one that I want to add to our list here as 43.5. I do think that's a little bit high. You can also see, by the way, Bears games 8 out of their last 10 on the under. And just curious, what does that look like when they're playing road games? Okay, 7 of their last 10 and 10 of their last 15. So, and these have both been dead unders so far this year. Again, only 2 games, but yeah, definitely like that one. We will definitely add that one there to the slip and continue. Houston and New England, I don't really have much of an opinion on this game. I actually thought Houston, I almost added them to the list of kind of overreactions for winners because they almost blew that game against Buffalo, and Buffalo kind of just handed it back to them at the end. But again, those are still, I would say, 2 close or somewhat close in power rating teams. I mean, it literally ended almost as a pick 'em today. So, don't have a ton of an opinion here. 7 seems probably about right. I've seen a little bit. It looks like on Pinnacle, it's moving. Like we might get 6.5. I, for some reason, feel like if this goes to 6.5, though, this will get pushed right back to 7. I guess I would say I'm not going to put any sort of bet here. 38.5. I mean, Patriots offense is just dreadful. I don't know what the situation with if May will get a chance to play in this game. Houston's been missing some pieces. They've been generally an over team. You can see here they're like 8 of their last 10 on the over and 7 of their last 10. So we look just real quick at the total here. It's at 38, so it's actually a little bit lower. So yeah, for me, I don't think there's a bet in this game that I would say you're going to get a ton of CLV on. What I'd recommend is that if you are going to bet Houston, maybe by tomorrow, you might even get a 6.5. I would definitely wait till you get the 6.5. If you're going to bet New England, you could, I guess, bet the 7 now. I don't know. That could be, given that it's already a little bit juiced towards going to 6.5. Maybe this gets to 7.5 at some point. But if you get a cheap 7 and you do like New England, don't wouldn't hate betting that, I guess, a little bit earlier in the week. Tampa, New Orleans. Remember, we're going to skip that because we do not have the Monday night game, so we do not know about injuries and got to wait and see what happens there. I do think 45.5 seems about right, and I also think that New Orleans 2.5. I still kind of maybe like a little bit of Tampa there, but we'll skip past that and go to Colts and Titans. Titans, okay, coming off a bye. Naturally, we're seeing a -1 here. So the Anthony Richardson news is going to be something worth monitoring. He wasn't inactive today. He sustained a hip injury. Don't know if he's going to be able to go. If we take a look here, do we have any news on him? Yeah. So okay. So looks like Glazer's saying that here, hopeful he can come back. What does he mean? I don't know if it's really much of a change from what you're getting with Flacco. And given that this is already +1, I would say if you're gonna bet the Colts, like you can probably bet their money line to me right now, and you're gonna be fine in order to do that. The total here at 42.5. I mean, I don't really have an opinion here other than I was going to say maybe to go slightly under. It's 42 at Pinnacle Bookmaker, and it is 42.5 at Bet Online. So not a ton of value there. If we look at the money line, though, I do kind of like the Colts a little bit in this one, even though I know Tennessee is coming off a bye. We're not going to see it here, and we're only going to see the spread. So, yeah, probably, again, I'm not going to add this as a bet. I would say the only way that I would probably look at this game would be if you want to get a cheap price on Indy, because I don't think this game is moving that far away from them. Now, the one thing that I would say, I will call out here, is that they did have one of their tackles. So Will Freeze, he had to get a surgical procedure on a fractured tibia. That's not good. He has actually been very good for the Colts so far this year. So some offensive line problems. You've got Jonathan Simmons there on the other side for Tennessee. Keep an eye on Jeffrey Simmons. So I'll take back what I said there about a minute ago. This line could actually go towards Tennessee if we get a good practice report from Simmons, and if Richardson is kind of iffy to go. But like I said, even if Richardson goes, I would say that this is probably, and at most, this probably goes to maybe like Tennessee -2. It's definitely not going to go to 3. So maybe if you want to bet some Colts, maybe you actually wait on the money line, contrary to what I said a little bit earlier. What's up, Vital Capper? Glad to have you here. Vital, by the way, guys, if you have not joined one of his slip build streams, they are fantastic. He does them all the time through the Outlier Discord. So make sure to check those out. He has been covering some WNBA for us. We had a good chat about some of the baseball stuff on Friday. So try to join those when I can. But thank you, Vital, for popping in here. We've got so yeah, not a ton so far. This is week 6 looking a little bit more like a puzzle than I expected. So Arizona and Green Bay, interesting one. Arizona coming off a great win today. Green Bay, I would argue, also pretty good win. I thought Love looked um, pretty good today. I know one thing I was talking with a couple of friends about was that really thought that 3.5 was probably not the right line ultimately with that Rams game, just given that I thought the Packers were going to be able to score, and they certainly did. I think the Packers will be able to score here again. Do I want to have the Packers cover 5 against Arizona, a team that can probably always have a chance to backdoor these? No. The one thing I would say is that keep an eye on Jair Alexander's status. He does have a good chance to return for this game. If he does play, that matters somewhat. I think I would personally rather just go for something like if we don't see a team prop yet, but I would like a Green Bay team total over in this game. I am seeing though that this over 49.5, and we're not seeing that's EV anymore, but let's see what it is here. So we're up to 50.5 on Pinnacle. Yeah. 49.5 actually may be a play on the over. I was going to say I thought that was a little bit low. 50 and 49.5 on Bet Online, but we're going to add that one because I do think that we could see this very much easily go to 50.5, even 51. But that status of Alexander does matter for sure. If Alexander does play, then we might be able to do some buyback there on the under. Agreed with Vital. That would absolutely matter for that. So adding the total there as potentially one that we might want to monitor. All right. One of the things you got to do in look aheads, right, is we talk about the teams that we overreact to and you want to buy low on. I said this last week for the Browns against the Commies, and I was right about the CLV. That actually was, I believe it was 3.5, and you could get a cheap 3.5. That did close around 3 today, and I looked very stupid for betting the Browns because they had no chance of ever staying in that game. And now I'm starting to get some vibes that this team may have already quit. 9 points, however, is definitely too many points against an Eagles team to me that is what has the Eagles team done to really prove so far this year that they should be giving 9 points? Now, we haven't had AJ Brown. You do have to throw out that Tampa game. I believe that was really more of like a JV, honestly, roster. Will we get Smith back? Will we get Lane Johnson back? You know, my guess is they both play. So on the Cleveland side, if I'm looking here at injuries, I didn't see any major injuries today. Oh, sorry, Denzel Ward. Denzel Ward was big. Denzel Ward did hurt his hamstring. He does definitely matter. Let's see if there's any news on him. Yeah, so I did not hear some good things about Denzel Ward. Keep an eye on that. It looks like Joke also left, but that was due to cramping. He will come back. He will play. Njoku, knee injury, that's not good. He probably doesn't play. Oof. That's not great. That I will say, if you're going to bet Cleveland, this is going to probably move in Philadelphia's favor. I do think plus 380 though is still crazy. I'm going to definitely add this as a money line pick here because, hey, in the NFL, the parity is too great for me to see plus 380. Really, I kind of use the rule of thumb that if it's anything over plus 300, you have to at least give it a look on the money line. Yes, I know the Browns looked really, really bad. But I mean, look, Pinnacle is at 314 right now. Don't think we have 8.5 on Bet Online. So I think that line will actually move towards Philly because if we get some good practice reports, then yeah, Njoku, yeah, he did. He just came back too. If we get some good practice reports, this line could move. Will it get to 10? I don't know if it'll get to 10, but I would say that Browns money line, if you can find like a 380 like that, look, it's going to feel gross betting it, but it's probably worth a sprinkle. Just if you're strictly looking for some good CLV through there. Washington and Baltimore is our next one here that we are going to look into. Boy, so Washington, classic overreaction team today that they had a big win against the Browns, who we have just covered already stink. I think Baltimore is going to be the bet here. I think Baltimore, I think under 51.5 is going to be the bet. I do not personally rate these offenses, the Bengals and the Commanders, the same. I know the Commanders have been incredible. I still look at the teams they have played. I know the Browns defense is obviously better or supposedly better than the Giants, than Arizona, than the Bengals. But at the same time, the Ravens are certainly going to be a better defense than anything that Washington has played. I know they are looking at 24th, which is not great. So 24th in defense, yeah. Not, I mean, Ravens defense has not necessarily been great. So I will eat crow there. I was about to say that their defense was a lot better. It's not a lot better, but I do think that this is interesting there on 51.5. I just think that's a little bit high for that total. 6.5 also. I have I have a feeling that this probably does get to 7. I don't know if I would bet that. We'll just take a quick look over here. Yeah, not a lot here, but I am correct on the 51.5 being a little high, as I'm seeing just market-wise. Pinnacle saying 51. What are we seeing for Bookmaker? 51.5 on Bookmaker. 51.5 on Bet Online. So Penny is a little bit of the outlier here. May want to check on Circa and a couple others as well. But I'm going to put the under here. At some point, Washington's offense is going to face some challenges. I didn't necessarily think Tampa Bay's defense was that great in week 1. I know that was Jaden Daniels' first start, though, so gotta throw that in there. So we'll throw the under, though, 51.5. So just a high total. I could see a couple of scenarios where Washington may have some problems here. All right, we're looking ahead here at the other games. We've got 1, 2, 3. I think we got 4 games. Okay, let's keep moving along. Try and wrap up here in about 10, 15 minutes or so. So Chargers and Broncos. Chargers coming off a bye. Denver also looked awesome today. Also against a team that benched Gardner Minshew and started AOC. Yes, I will share these. So after the stream, I will put these as a link. Yep, these will all go in a link. So if we want at the end, I can share them. Also, I will share this slip right now, just for those that want these so far. So these are the bets so far. And at the end, I will add a few more. Yeah, this to me is a classic. This is another sell high scenario for me. I think, honestly, the Chargers are the play. Chargers coming off a bye. Herbert, don't know what his status is. We'll have to monitor what Joe Alt. Okay, all good, man. Just sharing that in now, just in case you guys wanted to get the first couple, if you wanted to get those in. So yeah, there's some injuries here for the Chargers. You got to keep an eye on Slater, on Joe Alt. What is happening with Joey Bosa? Is there anything here on Herbert? No, but Herbert does have another week to get healthy. I know Denver's defense has been pretty good. I think this is a good spot, though, for the Chargers coming off that bye. I don't know if I have any interest in the total, but I definitely have interest in either the money line, which probably am betting the money line if it's just -2. If this gets out a little bit more, then I might just move to spread, and I can see that this minus 137 already on Pinnacle, 2.5. And if we go and look -2, and what's been online? -2.5. So yeah, definitely would say Chargers, you are going to get some CLV if you want to bet that money line. Cowboys game delayed even more. I'm a Steelers fan, so this is fantastic. I can do this entire stream without having to miss any of the Sunday night games. So, as a father of two, not so great because that means I'm going to be very tired tomorrow. But yeah, so Chargers really like this bet here on the money line. And yeah, I would say, by the way, with spreads like this, 2 is a number that does hit a little bit more of late, given with more teams going for 2, teams missing extra points. If you're getting to me like a money line that's less than minus 130 and you like that side and you're getting greater than 1.5 on the spread, to me, then I'm just going to take the money line. If you are getting like a money line, let's say it's like minus 150 compared to -2, then yeah, I'm going to take the spread there. But usually, if you can get a little bit of that value in between books on a cheap money line, that's what I would end up taking there. Steelers and Raiders, skip that one here. Lions and Cowboys, skip that as well, given the pending results that we have. Atlanta, Carolina, I don't really have a lot of opinion on this, except that I know Carolina got beat pretty bad today. Let me take a look at what was that score of their game today? I thought Outlier had their last. I guess it would be if you go. That's true. You just go to money line. Okay, yeah. So they got whooped at Chicago. I don't think Carolina's good. I think Atlanta is not. And I just, again, getting Atlanta to have to cover greater than a touchdown. Atlanta to me just seems very fraudulent based on some of the games that they have played already. I think 48.5 though is kind of interesting. That total probably is right. I mean, Carolina, a tough matchup today though. Yeah, 48.5 here. What are we seeing? 48, yeah. So I'm going to stay away from that total for now. 49 on Bet Online. So there's some disagreement there, but I would definitely add Carolina plus 4.5 or 5.5. I still think that could close like 4.5. So you will get some CLV there. I just don't see an appetite for a lot of people to heavily back Atlanta after the last couple of weeks. Even though Cousins, great, he looked good, I guess, on Thursday, and they do have extra rest coming into this one, so don't discount that. Cincinnati, so I mean, kitchen sink game. If there ever was one for Cincinnati, this is certainly it. Giants, surprising win, big surprise. I'm sure a lot of the Survivor folks. This has just been an absolute nightmare for Survivor this year. If you had played. I was out in week 1, so that was a quick stint for me. But looking at this game, I don't love the Bengals at -3.5 here. Also because their line is the one thing that the Giants are able to take advantage of. Giants don't have a really great defense, but they do have good pass rushers. Cincinnati obviously will struggle with that. However, their offense has looked so good. Especially since Higgins has come back. I don't trust their defense whatsoever. Be curious to see what this looks like. Yeah, 3.5. The look ahead on this had to have been higher. So if I look here just real quick, I am curious on what was that line for the look ahead? Okay, so 4.5 was the line, and now it is down to 3.5. Okay, so not a huge adjustment. I think that's probably right. I don't know if the Bengals are going to be 3. I think you're going to see a lot of money. Take them, and they will go to 3.5. I think if it goes anything above 4, though, I think you might see some Giants money come in. So no bet for me here. I think this is fair where it is. And that is one thing I like to do as a habit, by the way, is check. I mean, see what that look ahead line is. Sometimes if you see a big adjustment, prime example of this was the Packers going into week 2 off of week 1. They lost Jordan Love. The line adjustment was insane. It was like 9 points going to Malik Willis and Jordan Love. He's fun to watch, but he was not worth 9 points in a game that they were going to play at home. So again, sometimes you'll find that whenever you take a look at some of those look ahead lines and compare what the adjustment would be. All right, interesting one here with the Bills and the Jets. Fun Monday night game that we're gonna get here in the great state of New Jersey. So Jets buy low, I guess. I mean, so a couple of conflicting things for me on this is that Jets are coming from London. However, London to the East Coast, or at least especially the Northeast, it's not that bad of a flight. I mean, it's like I think 6-7 hours. So to me, it's kind of equivalent of like if you're going out west. Time difference is a little bit different, but yeah, this isn't Seattle going to London and coming back. This is I wouldn't put a ton of weight into that, but it's still worth noting that they are still have a long flight coming back from London. The time adjustment. Bills also. This will be their third consecutive road game. Now, this is a more or less local game for them, being played in the Meadowlands and not, at least close to their proximity. But still, third straight road game. They've lost their first two, got pretty much beat up pretty bad in that game against the Ravens. Had a couple of chances, I feel like, today to win. 2.5 here is the line. Think yeah. So thanks, Trevor, for pointing that out. So yeah. So just pulling up my notes here. So Rodgers did say that's a great point to bring up the injury there. Rodgers told reporters he's dealing with a low ankle sprain after that game. Also, Sauce Gardner had a hand injury. He returned, but it's the second time he's left the game and come back already this season. Mosley also did not play in this one. Khalil Shakir did not play for the Bills today. Josh Allen also rolled his ankle in the game today, but he came back and played. Their corner, Teron Johnson, did not play. So a lot of guys banged up here, but I still think weirdly that the Bills might be in a little bit better shape. So yeah, it looks like Shakir, he had ankle soreness. I'm going to guess he does play in this one. And then let me look real quick at, is there anything listed for Gardner? Because I just, that to me was a little bit interesting that he did return. I want to see what his practice report is going to be. Obviously want to monitor what Rodgers does. I think part of this is what Rodgers says is like him trying to kind of like make himself the story as always. But low ankle sprain. Oh, I think I'm with you here, Trevor. I think we need to circle the wagons because I think Buffalo is probably the bet here. Will it get to 3? Maybe. I think if you want to bet the Bills and you want to bet the -2.5, this will definitely get to 3 if Rodgers is practicing limited. If he doesn't, if he's a DNP at some point this week, keep an eye on Allen's status. Absolutely keep an eye on. I think, like I said, the Sauce Gardner stuff to me was just a little bit weird. I would be curious. What is this line? Okay, -2.5. So it is a little bit shaded here towards the Bills. Again, every time I've seen lines this year, when you get the -2.5s, it's not going to 3 a lot of the time unless you're getting a big injury or like there's a report. So, but I do think we might have that in this one. Either way, I doubt this goes to 3.5. I still think Rodgers plays. I would personally, I would look to bet this as Buffalo. Will you get a lot of CLV from this? Probably not, but I would say that that's the side I'd be leaning towards. 41.5. This is 42, 42, 41.5. No real opinion here on the total. I think that that's probably fine. Maybe that goes over a little bit. I mean, Bills games have been, if you look at their overs, yeah, 8 of their last 10. What about on the road? Yeah, 6 of 10. Jets are dead under. So yeah, I don't think there's a lot to do here with the total. But I would say that the Bills probably are the side here. So all right. So to recap what we have gone through, went through all the games that we knew that we were going to have at least some information on the ones we think are interesting. If we go through our slip here, I do think the Seattle one, the more I look at this at 3, if you're getting a cheap 3, I just don't know if I'm seeing San Francisco. I know it's shaded right now towards the -3, maybe going 3.5. I don't know if this gets to 3.5, but if I can get a cheap 3 on Seattle right now, I don't hate that. I love the under 43.5 for the Bears and Jags. Like I said, I think that that's setting up for just a classic kind of low scoring London game. And Jags should be a little bit more comfortable. Caleb also, had a good game today. I've been a Caleb Williams believer, but I think that 43.5 is maybe about a point or two too high. Cardinals and Packers also like that total as the over 49.5. So that looks like that's available at MGM. Again, as I said earlier, we scroll back down. Where's that Browns game? Yeah. Feels absolutely gross betting on Cleveland, but plus 385 is, I just think, just way too high. I'm seeing plus 360 though, by the way, it looks like on DraftKings. So if that has moved, still would like it. Don't like it obviously as much, but think that's worth a sprinkle. Again, I just don't, got to see what the Eagles injury reports as well. If it gets to 10, I'd also probably lean Cleveland there too. Chargers, I really like this one. The money line against Denver. They're rested. They're coming back. Herbert should be a little bit healthier. If they get Alt back for this one, then I think that they're positioned very well to play Denver close and to win this game. So LA money line, I really like. I like Carolina plus 5.5 against the Falcons more because I think the Falcons are frauds, and also I think you will get some good CLV potentially on that one. And then the Bills one here at -2.5. I am seeing, by the way, some EV on the money line at -130. Man, it's not enough to do it for me there, but -2.5. I just like that bet. Sometimes I like just giving out bets that I like on this stream, even if you don't think it's necessarily going to get a ton of CLV. The ones that I would say out of these, definitely the 43.5, the 49.5, and the Cardinals and Packers. The money line in the Browns game, the 51.5. I forgot to mention this in the Commanders Ravens. I do think that we might see some under money come through there. Chargers money line and the Panthers plus 5.5. So I think do we have 6? Yes. Seattle, maybe you see. Yeah, actually, I'm seeing. You might get some CLV on this one too. So maybe we got like 7 here that you can potentially get some good CLV on. So going to share this slip right through here so you guys can tail along with me. I will be in and out of the Discord, of course, as always, as Slippin Jimmy all week. Wandismo, thank you guys so much for joining. Really appreciate getting to do this. One of my favorite parts of every Sunday is getting to go do this look ahead show. So you can find me in the Outlier Discord. You can also find me in the Beat the Line Discord. If you want more info on that, just message me. And I will be back here next Sunday. Make sure, like I said, check out some of those other streams like from Vital Capper, from Berg, all of our friends on the Outlier Discord. They're trying to make you money. And yeah, I'd say most of the time we are making money together building a lot of those slips. So appreciate you guys joining, and I'll be back here again next week. Thanks, everybody.